Welcome to a special edition of Economics Applied. We're here at the Jackson Hole Monetary Policy Symposium, and we're delighted to be in this setting. Behind us, you can see the glorious Teton Mountain Range and a sliver of Jackson Lake. And if you squint, you might even see some wildlife passing by as we speak. I understand that the Fed is not looking at the politics when it makes its decisions, but nonetheless, nobody likes to get the kind of heat that the Fed has been under recently. I just wonder what you think about that.
Ultimately, the way that we've always worked, and I think the way that we should work in maintaining what Congress gave us in our independence, is do the job. Do the job well. Hold yourself to doing the job. If it's challenging, that's what we get asked to do. That's what we get paid for, so to speak. But ultimately, it's the privilege of serving, and it's the responsibility of serving. So we'll make the decisions like we always do. And I think the chair conveyed that in the speech.
He was very forceful.
He was forceful
on that point.
And I think each of us who sit around that table come in with an understanding that we are charged with a job. We have to do that whether we're popular or not popular, we're getting pressure or no pressure, and we have to just make the decision that is right for the dual mandate goals we've been given.
We've been visiting small towns for 7 or 8 years. We've done a lot of research on them. And one thing my team found about 2 years ago is coming out of COVID, the story of small town decline actually had started to shift. There had been an increase in population in a bunch of small towns. Now, not every small town, and I like to say, not every small town is going to grow. But there were a lot. And just some comparative data, if you go back to the 2000s, you had most of the small towns in this country shrinking. If you go to the 2010s, almost none of them grew. In the 2010s, you had most of the small towns growing.
In the 2020s, you mean?
In the 2010s, you had most of the small towns shrinking.
Yeah, so shrinking.
And then in the 2020s, we're seeing about a third of the ones in my district growing.
What's strange and off about productivity in construction, if you're used to thinking about manufacturing or you're used to thinking about technology, is it doesn't get any better. At the most, it's completely flat for 40 years. And by most measures, it's negative. Literally 40 years, productivity growth in construction going down.
So booming productivity growth in manufacturing, for example, for decades.
So
and in agriculture.
Absolutely. But compared to the rest of the economy, it's both strange and awful.
The American people should expect us to be accountable for our actions, but to be accountable for our actions, we have to be transparent about what we intend, and that those two things go together. I think it's a responsibility of public service. If we do our job well, people understand, they can make better decisions in their lives, and even help us with achieving our goals.